This is Audra Sinnett with Cooking Couture Atlanta and Audra Speaks Live. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. Please subscribe, share. Please subscribe and share. And check out some of the other videos that I have on my channel as well. Thank you so much for tuning into my story, my truth, my turn. I think that it is so essentially important that everyone get to speak their truth. I really don't care about what was said and assumed. I'm gonna set the record straight. I'm gonna let you know what happened. You get to determine and make whatever assessments and judgments that you make. But more importantly, I want you to learn from what I didn't know. I didn't have a mentor specifically in business to tell me and to warn me. I didn't have relatives that had been in businesses, multi-million-dollar businesses for years, and it's a difference. You start to become a million-dollar earner, the things that are of concern to you, the things that you need to be cautious of, the things you need to be aware of, the information that you need to have changes. Importantly, I guess the biggest thing I want to get across, the people you're around need to change. And that's what didn't change for me. There's so many things that I want to tell a business owner, a potential business owner, someone that's thinking about going into business, and that's why you'll have to download the book. It'll have more specifics and more details. I've been told that your test is your testimony, and this was truly my test. April 15th, 2015, the Georgia Department of Revenue, all of these different stupid government agencies came in, raided and seized all of my businesses and my property. They said it was because of non-paid sales tax. I had somebody reporting that I owed more sales tax than what I owed. And asked me, why was I targeted? I wasn't targeted as much as I made myself a target. And whenever you rise above the status quo, whenever you jump out of the water, whenever you do something that everybody isn't doing, and how many people do you know that are just casually making over $1 million a year? You make your company more money, you're incentivized. They came in and raided my tax office, but they never closed the tax office. The tax office never had yellow tape. They never seized all of the equipment in there because they didn't have a right to. They could only take the hard drives so that they could go through and see if there was any incriminating evidence. They audited over 10,000 tax returns. And I said before 3, I think I was fined for 7. And I got a $1,500 fine. I'll go to my attorney's office, they're talking. That's where they told me that they had sent an undercover agent into my tax office to get their taxes done. And honey, he was mad at me. He had an attitude with me because he said the person had to wait in the lobby so long that the camera that they had, the undercover camera to record everything that they had, the battery ran out. I mean, he was mad at me. I was like, okay. Very important. I had said that year, because of a feeling I had and because of some spiritual advice I received, I did not want to take any new clients. Well, our clients had really declined this particular year, and my employees didn't listen to me. I said, if somebody comes here that we don't know, and especially if they weren't referred by somebody we like, do not take their return. Tell them, no, we're not taking new clients. I apologize and thank you. Well, behind my back, the person that was running my office did what she wanted to do, honey. She took the person, she had them fill out the form, and they took a picture of the form, and she had them sign the form and leave the taxes. And I also said, I made very clear, I do not want new people, and I do not want you to do anybody's tax return this year that's not in front of you or on the telephone with you, giving you authorization to do whatever it is that you're doing. They didn't listen to me. They did the undercover person's taxes, got done like 2 or 3 weeks after they had come into the office, and just processed, and they got it. It was all fictitious, but it got done, and then, of course, that was another alert. Had they listened to me, and I feel like, had you respected me enough as the owner, the person that paid, but I didn't demand that respect. So they seized everything. They did an expedited auction. And within like 30 or 60 days, they auctioned off everything at the bakery. They never touched the tax office because the tax office was never the target. It was never the reason. They hadn't found anything. There was nothing at the tax office. But everybody assumed, because that's where I made the majority of my money, that it was taxes. And it was, I was supposed to be on Food Network's baking challenge that year. Someone sent them the footage. Of course, they dropped me. My brother got diagnosed with lung and brain cancer. All of my accounts got seized. All of my businesses were closed and seized in one day. So in one day, I basically went from being a multimillionaire to being homeless. It was a super crazy time when strangers were calling to check on me, but my family was not. My family was actually the first to desert me. Then all of the other people ran, but then there were some people that came through. Hugs and love and food and money. Everybody was looking out for me. It was a lot of people looking out for me. That was a lot of people that really hurt me and really surprised me, disappointed me in how they responded or didn't respond to me. You really, get mad at those people, or do you thank those people? Do you thank them? The people that started with you and helped build a foundation, who you thought would always be there, and then they showed through the years their true colors and who they really are and what they really wanted from you. Do you resent them for that, or do you thank them for that? I'm thanking them. Thank you. Thank you. And at this time, I won't thank you by name. Maybe in the book I will. I hired the wrong people. I should have fired people. I should have hired people qualified to do what I needed them to do. I wanted to pull people along that weren't ready to go. People turned on me. I fired some people and they threatened me and they said that they were going to destroy me. And they really worked hard at it and they did a good job. And because people were calling in and saying things to the IRS, saying things to the Department of Revenue, because they knew that those were agencies that could come out and seize my business. These were people that worked for me, and some of them were friends. Caused me a downfall because they envied me. They were jealous. They felt like they should have what I had. Get your team right. I had a consultant that had also consulted with another Black business that had been raided. What's that about? Do they send him first so that he can see everything and then they bring everybody in? I don't know. I ain't calling no names. I ain't calling nobody out on this video, but I'm just saying. I went to see this CPA. He said that he was brought down here from New York years ago, that the atmosphere in the Georgia Department of Revenue is one of which it's a whole culture built around, if Black businesses are prospering, if they're making over $1 million, they're doing something wrong. It's illegal. They're flipping drug money. They're doing something illegal to get it. Like, we're not capable of just building good, solid businesses. And that is the way they talked to me. That is the way I was treated the entire time. One of the things that I got out of my entire experience is a strong belief that if you've never been in business, you shouldn't be able to regulate businesses. And if you've never actually done it, how dare you get to regulate and tell me how I should do something when you have no clue about your own rules that don't even necessarily work the way you think they work because you've never done it. So 6 months after, I get a letter and saying everything's okay, I can go back into business. People are like, well, open back up. And I'm like, oh, okay. I had over $1 million worth of equipment that they sold for little or nothing. I had nothing. I couldn't start baking again. I didn't even have a pan. I didn't have an oven. I had nothing. Then we had to deal with the depression. I was so depressed and so stressed. I was really depressed. I was functioning and I was smiling and looking good and giving God the glory and listening to things and inspiring myself and reaching out and searching for inspiration encouragement, upliftment, knowledge. But I could not forgive myself for allowing this to happen. I could not forgive myself for caring more about old friends and employees than I did about my daughter and our future. I couldn't forgive myself. So that depression, that angst and anxiety prevented me from even being able to drive up or down the 2 streets that my business was on for over a year. I wasn't able to even bake a cake. It took me a very long time, like 4 years, before I admitted it and forgave myself. It was like a major death. It was a loss. And in between that, my brother transitioned, then my grandmother transitioned, then my dad transitioned. I had never lost anybody. Really, I had lost my Muddia, my grandmother. That was the first person I ever lost, and that was some years before. But I started losing people close to me that were in my daily experience. When I lost my brother, it changed my life. So I lost my business, was my first death. Then I lost my brother, and then I lost my grandmother, my mother's mother. And I was kind of lost. You know, I was hurting. I didn't know how to apply for a job. I didn't know how to put a resume together. 15 years I'd been working for myself. What was your last salary? $900,000. I mean, what do I say? I didn't even know how to function in a non-entrepreneurial world. Last year in January, I got a letter saying you need to come and get the rest of your things that we were unable to sell because we're no longer, able to sell your stuff. So you need to get them out of our storage. You got 30 days. I was like, wow. I didn't realize how angry I was until I went there that day with my daughter. My daughter was like, oh my God, Mom, calm down. It's not the security guard's fault. It's not the receptionist's fault. I was mad at everybody. I wanted to just like curse everybody out. The Bible verse that says my people perish for a lack of knowledge is so true. Had I known the things that I know now and how to move about and how to operate, I would have done things so differently. So I was mad at myself. I was mad at them. I was just mad because there were no classes. There were no books available to me like the one that I want to make available to you. I wasn't strong enough. I always say I didn't have the balls to do what needed to be done. And I was told by 3 or 4 people that I needed to fire everybody, close down, rehire with new rules, and set it the way I wanted. And all I could think about was, they won't have employment. They need the money. Honey, please, they got unemployment or done whatever it is they did when it happened. Because not one of them called to see how I was doing. Because I was the only one that wasn't making it. Me and my child were the ones that was suffered and that was depressed and that was stressed. It's so many things that I want to say. Don't let life pass you by. Smell the roses. Observe who's around you. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. You know when you're supposed to let somebody go. You know when you're not supposed to do something. You have to let your passion push you. Don't let money push you, because money comes and goes. Because see, you can be a millionaire, honey, and not have any millions in the bank. You have to inspect what you expect. So that's nothing else that I can leave you until we get to part 3. Thank you so much for listening to my story, my truth, my turn. And we will have a part 3, and we will hear from some of the people that experienced this with me. We will talk about this journey back.